So, hi, I'm Miriam Sternlicht with the Global Composers Network, and I'm delighted to be joined today by composer Carly Paradis. Thanks for taking the time, and congratulations on your success thus far, especially with your recent project, The Innocents.
Oh, thank you so much.
It's a pleasure to have you. So, I want to start off by asking you, and I'm sure you get asked this all the time, but how did you begin your journey into music in general, and how did you find your passion for composing for visual media?
Okay, so I started playing the piano at a really young age. It was actually a keyboard my family had brought home or borrowed, and I was about 3 or 4, and like hearing tunes off the radio, mimicking that, sort of playing some 80s pop tracks by ear. My grandmother also had like an electronic organ at her home, so I would play that at the grandparents when visiting. And that sort of started my real love for the instrument and music. And also, listening to my parents' amazing records like Elton John's Yellow Brick Road, which was a like mind-blowing experience as a young child. Yeah, and then I went in to study, piano classically with lessons and started writing on the piano at around 9, little, melodies and songs. And then I pursued music in university and got my degree in music and multimedia so that I could also study the tech side of things as well. And then, yeah, I was in an indie pop rock band in Canada during my
That's fun.
20s because I wanted to explore that world and production and touring and all that, which was a great experience. And at the same time, I was a substitute teacher to pay the bills, and it was a flexible job, so that helped me to be able to pursue the music. And then I always just loved creating instrumental music, and the type of music, was very emotional, and then some of it was very epic and thematic, and it just naturally lent itself to pair well with visuals. And so I guess when I sort of changed gears was around 2007-ish when I started working with Clint Mansell. And then, yeah, sort of from that point on, touring with him as his pianist and working on some piano arrangements for him, I then, sort of made my way into doing short films and documentaries and TV series and films. And so that, about 2009, I kind of officially swapped over.
Fantastic. Wow. And you did that, the segues that you made from doing shorts and then getting, you kind of built up into the larger scale projects, which in my opinion is the best way to do it.
Yeah, I think like another big thing for me is always doing like solo album stuff where I can
Right.
completely create music that I love, and using that to also build my demo reel. I think that's important to have your own voice on there.
Right. Um, were there any primary influences in your musical development, or did you take inspiration from anyone in particular to develop your sound?
Oh, okay. I guess for me, my 3 composer spirit animals would be Frederick
Yeah.
Chopin, and I don't know if you can see on the back wall, I've got a painting of Chopin on the wall there in the studio. So Frederick Chopin, Clint Mansell, he's just phenomenal, and Elton John, I think.
Elton John, well, that would come from your childhood, right? He's amazing. Have you seen Rocket Man?
I have not seen it yet. I have to remember, and I should see. I probably missed the screening, but yes, I'll definitely be seeing it.
One of our members asks, his name is Sean Calvo, and he also comes from Hamilton.
No way!
Yes, he asks, when did you realize that you wanted to become a composer for film? And has there been anything completely unexpected that you've had to deal with along the way?
Okay, those are great questions. So the first one was when did I
When did
decide?
you decide, or when did you realize that's what you wanted to do, writing for film and media?
Okay, I think during university, I started doing some bits of music for student projects and also within the multimedia courses. And so I just, that drive to be creating music was there, and then the whole tech thing, and then seeing that working with, we would create websites or I'd create little games, and then just the how amazing of an atmosphere you can create for the the viewer with the music and the sound. And I think that that was sort of my beginning. It was my early 20s. I knew I wanted to do the indie pop rock stuff and learn about the production of that type of music, and just, yeah, that whole experience. But I knew in my heart that, it was, the instrumental stuff, and yeah, it was very natural and organic for those to merge together. Right. So yeah, I think early 20s. But the whole songwriting stuff is still important to me, so I still do that as well.
Of course.
And then, yeah, for the second question, yeah, I think for unexpected, I think for me it's like a constant journey of learning, with this, and there's always challenges popping up all the time, and then you sort of have to think outside the box, or think of different strategies. So that's happening all the time, really, in the process, I think.
Probably important to happen as well, because otherwise you don't break out of this comfort zone that as an artist, you need something to shake you up now and again so that you can create something new from your experience.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and obviously there's sometimes a lot of pressure with timelines and that. So those are things that you have to learn to adapt to and work through. And yeah, it's kind of like problem solving too, because, every day we can't just put a cap on and be like, I've got my creative cap on. It's a process, and it's the more that you spend the time there, some days might be garbage, but then some days you might get a gem out of it. And then that, can start the whole journey of a whole tone or a sound for a project. So I think to battle these unexpected things, it would be, to just spend as much time as you can, and also learning, and just honing in on your own voice, with the occasional walk, because I read an article that for creative minds you do need to take breaks.
Fresh air. Oh my gosh, that helps me when I'm stuck in a rut every time.
Yeah, just like it's almost like when you're not thinking about it, sometimes ideas come to you.
Absolutely. Can you tell us a little bit about your setup, the programs you use? Is there anything that you simply can't live without?
Sure, yeah. I can't live without a piano, that's for sure. I've got two here. I've got an upright, which has got an incredible muted felt on it I love, and then I've got a great piano at the back, and those are my primary writing tools and sketch tools when I start projects. And then I will go to my setup here and start to, experiment with colors and different instrumentation and orchestration and all that. And in terms, I use Logic. That's my main program, and I use Contact. I love making custom sounds. That's a real fun thing to do, custom sounds for each project. I love Spitfire. Spitfire are fantastic, and I've worked with them, doing talks and, just a big fan of their sounds. And they also have like the London Contemporary Orchestra samples as well, which are fantastic. And I like Lexicon Reverb. That's something I use quite a bit. Sound of that. What else do I got? I've got a really awesome vintage 101 bass synth. I don't know if you can see it.
Nice. No, I can't, but I believe you. Awesome.
Focal monitors. I like Focals.
What are those?
They are a French company, and these are the SM9s. I think they've got the bass on the top. Oh. They're really big and heavy, but they've got a real full, powerful sound, and I like them.
Nice. Right, let's talk about The Innocents. So sure. How did you get involved with The Innocents, and how did you approach it, and at which stage did you enter the process? And
Sure, yeah. I was asked for an interview for the show. One of the co-writers and creators, Hanya, I actually worked on a short film 8 years prior where she was working on the script there. So we were sort of in each other's worlds for quite a bit. Mm-hmm. And so my name was put into the hat, and, we had a great interview, and I pitched my ideas for how I thought it should sound, and, made a custom demo reel and all that. It was the right fit. And, so I came on board, it was, they were editing episode 1. So I had a little bit of time in the beginning to develop some ideas and themes in that, but the schedule did condense quite a bit in the summer. So at one point there was 4 hours of TV due in the month, and I was recording with the LCO, London Contemporary Orchestra, at Air Studios, and Olga Fitzroy was mixing. So the timeline did get quite challenging. But yeah, I love that series. It's so up my alley. It's like sci-fi and drama and a bit of horror and thriller, and I'm just a huge sci-fi fan, and so that opportunity was incredible to be able to create that, the themes and sounds and all that.
Can we expect a second season?
I don't have an answer. I'm crossing my fingers for a second season.
Yeah,
but I don't have any. You
don't know yet,
fortunately.
Right.
With the Innocence, I had a great opportunity for the end credits theme. I'd originally written like an instrumental piece that was, everything was signed off and okay and mixed, and then what I had done at Air Studios is I had come up with the song as sort of the essence of the whole show, and just to put up my sleeve, I recorded the whole string part at Air. And when episode 2 came along, the end credits were actually like triple the length than what was all completed. And so what I did was I pitched this idea of the actual song version with lyrics, and I did demo vocals on it. And they really loved it because the show is epic, and they really wanted it to be epic as well. So I had about 2 days turnaround to find a singer, edit it down, and get it mixed. And luckily, my studio neighbor, Martin Phipps, he had suggested. So Ira had, who's a Norwegian amazing artist and singer, and ends up like she lived around the corner from me, and she's Norwegian because The Innocence is shot both in UK and Norway. So yeah, I had her in, we got it down, Olga mixed it, and to me it's like a really personal track, and I also think it's very powerful and just really reflects on the essence of the Innocence show. And it was just like a super dream to be able to write a theme song at the end, and it went on to win a Hollywood Music and Media Award for Best Song, and we're playing Royal Albert Hall in August for the BBC Proms.
Nice.
Yeah. So again, you never know, you always just...
Absolutely. So you're saying that you wrote the lyrics to the song as well?
Yeah. So I write songs, and my next, my third solo album that'll be coming out, it's kind of a cross between pop and film score. And yeah, writing songs with lyrics I find it really fun and interesting and all.
So those solo albums are actually vocal albums, you're saying? They're
some of them. My first one was completely instrumental. The second one, I've got some choir on it, and I sing very indie, lo-fi on like a track. But this next one, I've got a lot of gems of guest vocalists on it.
Fantastic. Can you tell us a bit about your time working with Clint Mansell, or how'd that come to be? And
Yeah, he is just such an incredible human being. Personally, he's a dear friend, and he's, to me, one of the best composers of our time. And with that, it was a really weird one of those, like, one action that you do in your life, and that paves a completely new path. And I think that's always important to remember for other composers starting out, that, not to be afraid to ask, because, you might get no response, you might get a no, but that's fine. But it also may change your life. So with that, it was around 2006, I think, in the now antiquated MySpace, I sent a little note to him, and not expecting anything back. And I just told him exactly how his music made me feel, what I thought about it. And he actually did write back. And it was just blown away. So we started a dialogue and exchanged music that we were both working on at that time. And then a few months later, I was down in LA for the first time, actually, for a film and TV conference. And I'm like, hey, let's get a coffee, and we hung out and everything. And yeah, a few months later, he's like, I need a pianist for the Ghent Film Festival to perform my works. Would you like to do that? And I was like, yes, please.
Wow.
So that was the beginning of that. And that band, that core band that he got together, we then recorded on Moon, Duncan Jones' Moon, which went on to win a BAFTA, and it's like absolutely amazing score, amazing film.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm next week I'm supposed to be playing actually as a 10-year anniversary at the Barbican in London.
Nice.
We're playing live to picture the entire film, so I'm supposed to be playing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And I know you just said now that it's important to reach out. The worst that can happen is that you get a no, but if you do try, you could change your life. I believe that your living in London is also due to the fact that you started working. Wow. Do you like it here at least?
Yeah. Growing up, I was always inspired by the music coming from the UK.
Right.
So here, I just feel there's always like this energy of pushing forward and trying new things. And there's a lot of inspiration in London, yeah.
Fantastic. So my question was going to be, you've given one piece of advice to our composers. If there's another that you could think of, one single piece of advice for an aspiring composer, what would it be?
I think a big word would be like patience, because nothing happens overnight. And if it's something that you truly love and truly want to do on a day-to-day basis, you have to put the time in and be patient, because, it took me many, many, many years of, doing a short film and then waiting months and months and months. And then you're like, thinking nothing else is going to come of it. But it takes a long while to develop your sound, your voice, and then also meet with other collaborators that you click with, and developing those relationships that will also grow and build your career. Short films are a great way to do that, and meeting producers and, script writers, editors, directors. I've been working with, the brothers Lynch on their short films for many years now. And there was something else I did, and a producer saw, the work there, and that led to get an interview for another, bigger job and stuff. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. But yeah, patience, I think you just have to really stick to it if you love it, and make it part of your lifestyle. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, Carly, it was a pleasure to speak with you.
Oh,
and it really was. And our members are going to be so delighted with your advice and just your words and your experience. Sharing your experiences is invaluable. So thank you so much.
Wonderful. That was a lot of fun. Thank you very much.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you.